Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. All right, y'all, so we'll start with this reading. This is going to be our Saturday reading. I thank y'all so much for participating in the NCAA March Madness tournament with me. You know, one of the reasons why a lot of times I feel like when we finally start to retrieve who we really are, once we move past all of the negative energy, it's almost like I'm remembering the things that I loved. I'm remembering the things that I used to do. And so, you know, I can't tell you the last time I watched the games or I participated in polls, but it was just such a joy to me. And so I almost feel like I'm remembering the things that I loved, and naturally being in this space for you, I share it with you. And so if you participate in them, thank you. I think Thursday and Friday, I think I have to post like 16 polls a day. Now, as we move, the last day of the tournament, the championship is April 7th. And so as we move through, the polls are going to get less and less, but the games are going to get better and better, right? So we'll get to like Sweet 16, we'll get to the Elite 8, like we'll do the Final 4, and then it's the champ. Like, it gets better. So in the beginning, I know it's kind of obsessive. And so if you haven't unsubscribed because of the polls, like, I appreciate you. If you're participating in the polls, I appreciate you. Like, I just love it. I just love it. And let me tell you another reason why I do it. Now, I don't sit and watch the games. I really follow the scores, right? I don't sit and watch the games. In the past, you know, I used to. But, like, I almost see it as like a collective event. When I'm writing at the polls, like, every state is represented, right? Now, some of us went to college, some of us didn't. Some of us lived in states or towns where college is really big. But I just feel like if it's just a collective event, not that you have to watch anything, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just and one of the things that I love about sports is that it unites. It's one of the things that doesn't divide. This is based on my personal experience, okay? And it's college sports, it's not professional sports. And so, like, most of the kids that play college sports are going to go professional in something else when they graduate, you know. But I just like that energy, and obviously it's unique to me personally. But yeah, so thank you for participating. I love it. And we started off doing really well. Like, we were getting the wins right. We were hitting we were doing well. And so after these 2 big days, after Thursday and after Friday, Sunday's video, I'll be able to tell you how good we are doing in terms of our percentage and our stats, like how our predictions are going, which is exciting, because then all of this is leading us to like the final games. And so one of you may get it right. Like, some of it, like, I don't know, it's just fun, but I love y'all anyway. So, like, doing what I naturally loved or used to love that I put down or I forgot about because life got heavy and dark, but I get to pick it up again in the season that I'm in. I just think it's exciting. And so thank you for participating in it with me. Thank you. You know, and some of y'all live in the states that are playing. Not that you have to give a shit about it, but you're like low-key represented too. Like, it's something that everybody is a part of, whether you kind of know it or not. You know what I mean? So thank you. I love it. It excites me. We're almost done. We're almost done. Yo, like 16 polls a day. Yep. Thursday and Friday, 16 polls a day, 16 games a day. But after each team gets eliminated, it'll get less and less, okay? So yeah, I thank you. So I've already shuffled. I'm gonna just get going because I know these videos are kind of long. Okay, starting with this one. I think that was all that I had to say. Okay, first card that comes out is protection. That's a good way to start. We'll take it. And this is protection in every direction. Now, when it shows this way, when it shows all around, and protection is the first card. It has a 1 on there. And so I feel like the number 1 in numerology, it's about the trailblazer. It's about the self-starter. You know, when you're thinking of being a lone ranger, there's no one to follow because you are the leader. So you got to be bold. You got to be courageous. And so if you are starting something, if you're creating something, if you're about to do something that you really haven't seen anybody else do before, I think just this one card is confirmation that you are protected in every way possible, right? So go take the leap of faith, like, get going, get after it. You know, you're not alone. Next we have meditation. Now 40, I'm going to be 40 tomorrow. So meditation is 40. All right, let me get one more. I mean, clearly meditation means to tap in, to clear your mind and tap into something greater, you know, a consciousness that is not yours, to see what comes, to see what enters, but to kind of remove those thoughts that we continuously have and we fill our mental space with, and allow something else to fill you. And then we have knowledge. Okay. So in the center of this reading, we are talking about knowledge. On one side, we have protection and meditate. In the center, we have knowledge. Now, this is a book that has no writing on it, and this is really a reflection of the Akashic records. Like, none of our books, none of our records are going to look the same. And so this is about somebody gaining knowledge. Now we have death. All right, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. So somebody, okay, let me get one more. Oh, that was two, sorry. All right, now we got one, and talisman. Okay, so it ends with talisman and it starts with protection. In the center, we're talking about knowledge. All right, so something had to end in order for something else to be opened. Like, it was always going to be that way, okay? Something had to end. I said something had to end. Something needed to end. All right, now I'm going to use my Kipper-ish. Protection. First card is going to clarify protection for us. We have flying monkeys. Don't you love them? All right, so these flying monkeys, you know, these are people that kind of that are like copy and paste, right? Whatever's in my brain, I can copy it and paste it into yours. You can't really think for yourself. You can't feel for yourself. Like, these are people that you can easily project narratives into and onto, and they will just follow the mission. These are like NPCs, but they're coming out on top of protection. NPCs, no, they're understanding that you have protection, but they don't have this 360 protection. No. Next, we have rich girl. So the flying monkeys are watching the rich girl. Now, the rich girl honestly can be a rich girl. It doesn't have to be monetary money. This could be wealth. This can be spiritual wealth. I'm sorry. Now, flying monkey, rich girl, bondage. Now, bondage comes on top of knowledge. So for a period of time, accessing your Akashic records was a no-go because you were bound. Now, if you had opened it, you could have been a rich girl, which is why meditating is so important, because if you can clear the clutter from the 3D world, you'll start to be able to download some of the things from your Akashic records. But if you were bound and unable to do that, then you were unable to do that. Now, this is what comes out with death. Look at that little nasty-ass Jezebel. Jezebel comes out with death. Flying monkeys, rich girl, bondage to Jezebel. Okay. And then we have commitment. Man. So I'm really getting that you are spiritually rich, but for a period of time, you could have thought you were the brokest thing walking, right? And the only reason why it was that way is because you had been bound. And when I say bound, I mean like you couldn't tap in. You couldn't tap in. You couldn't touch yourself in the astral world or in the ethers. Like, you just didn't have access to your Akashic records. Somebody closed your mouth. They bound your hands, right? And so physically that didn't happen, but spiritually, like your spiritual eyes, your spiritual hands, like all of your spiritual senses were closed off to you so that you wouldn't be able to open that book, so that you wouldn't be able to have knowledge. Now, after the knowledge, we have the death, and it is the death of the Jezebel. So were you bound by a Jezebel? Did Jezebel have to die in order for whatever was bound on your mouth and your hands? Did you know what I mean? And then you have talisman. That is your key. And so what separates you? What separates you from the key? The key is what opens the door, right? And so it almost looks, okay, so you're bound from knowing certain things about yourself. And you're only bound because Jezebel is there. But the only way you can get the key that you need to open your Akashic records is if Jezebel dies. When Jezebel dies, not only do you get the talisman, But we also have commitment. Jezebel don't like marriages. Jezebel don't like relationships. Anything that comes together that reflects the mission or the movement of the Most High. No, like Jezebel kills, steals, and destroys, right? Specifically marriages, specifically unions. And so this is like the energy of lust. All right, y'all. Let's keep going. We're getting somewhere. Yo, why is Jezebel looking at me like this on this card? I feel so freaking uncomfortable. Look at her. Sit down with your nasty. I feel so uncomfortable. Like, am I old enough to be looking at this card right now? So these flying monkeys are going after a rich girl. Okay. So we have the Adinkra symbol. It says executioner's knife, justice. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, we have 5 of tufts. Or no, 5 tufts of hair. This talks about a specific hairstyle that priestly women used to wear to represent their status in community and in society. So think about being a high priest, think about being a priestess or a priest. There was a way that your hair would be fixed. And so 5 tufts of hair, the Adinkra symbol reflects this, but it talks about your loyalty to your priestly office. Now this comes out with the rich girl. And so you could have been a high priestess or a priest that was bound from knowing who you actually were. Maybe you didn't have access to your Akashic records. Now, what is standing in between you being able to open those books is you being able to meditate. Well, why can't you meditate on the wealth that you are carrying? Because you are in bondage. Did you know you were in bondage, or are you learning? Do you now have knowledge that you are in bondage? Well, who bound you? We have Jezebel. Well, who the hell carries the spirit of Jezebel? Who was close enough to you to do this? Now, did this happen when you were younger? Did this, nonetheless, we have justice. Justice is coming to the one that is supposed to be walking or sitting in a priestly position, or who holds the key to a priestly office. Yo, see, here comes the evil. God, there's a lot on this card. Hold on, I'm going to read this. It says, you specifically pick the moment of time and the parentage that would give you the best connection to energetically and genetically bring about your purpose. So here you are, a high priest or a high priestess. You actually needed to be born on the day that you were born, in the town, in the family, to the mother, the father. You needed your paternal family. You needed your maternal, you picked every single detail. As ratchet as those details turned out to be, you needed every single one of those details, because energetically and genetically, it gave you a specific package. The package that it gave you promised you that you would be able to bring about your purpose. Now, was it painful? Yes. Did you have to be bound? Yes. Did Jezebel have to impact you personally and your relationships? Absolutely. But it is what was picked, because this is what you would have needed. Almost like your book would never have gotten open unless you were bound to the treachery by way of your family, your lineage, your bloodline. Like, you needed this. You needed this moment in time. You needed that birthday. You needed it. You needed those parents, because it would have given you the best connection to the energy. So listen, you needed a whole bunch of demons to recognize that you were a priest or a priestess, right? You needed a whole lot of darkness to understand the amount of light that you carried. But per this, you picked it. This one, it says multi-dimensional memory. Having the feeling you've done this before, because you have in other star systems. Okay. So some of, I always get amazed when people can name the star system, like they can name the details that they hail from in the cosmos, right? And so some of you that do that, It is because you absolutely know you've done this before. Like, you're a paradigm buster, right? The exact thing that you were doing on Earth in this lifetime is what you did in other star systems. And so you picked the darkest, most lowest vibrational people you could find to call parents and family, because you needed that in order to bust it out, to bust through it, in order to recognize this is not me. I know y'all are my people, but you are not reflecting me. And so if you're not reflecting me, what is reflecting me? And then there goes the search. There goes life. And so you may be carrying some type of multi-dimensional memory. Now, if you haven't been able to access this, that energy is coming out with Jezebel. And so Jezebel is about lust, but really it's about living in your carnal nature. It's like never really being able to ascend to your spiritual life because you are trapped in your body. You're always feeding your flesh, right? And so if you've done this in other star systems, but you can only live out your humanity and you can never tap into like the cosmic nature that you carry because Jezebel has bound you, like that makes sense. Lastly, you were born, what is wrong with me? You were born on Earth to change the course of history. You are the talisman. You are the key. And so you have done in other star systems what you are called to do on Earth in this lifetime. The people that run this place, this beautiful planet, don't necessarily like it when star seeds come to do their job. Because when you come, it means that you have to fire them. Right? It means you gotta listen. I'll give you a severance package, but y'all got to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have come here to do this. You have come here to change the course of history, which is why you needed you needed the people that were deeply rooted, the people that were hanging out with demons generation after generation, decade after decade, and they loved it. They don't want to part from them demons. They don't want to ascend. And then here you go. Right? But you picked them because you were the priest, you were the priestess. But we have the energy of justice. Like, we got to get back to the executioner's knife. All right, I'm going to pull another row. So this could be the knowledge. Like, you are finally recognizing, like, why are y'all my family? Like, why are y'all my family? Like, you know what I mean? At some point, listen, you got to ask that question. And sometimes when you ask it, sometimes it can make you sad, it can make you angry, because you recognize all the days, the months, the weeks, and the years, and all the events that happened with these people. But then at some point when you start to ascend and you understand your greatness, and you're like, whoa, like, that's why I chose y'all? Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you need people that are so unlike you to recognize the beauty in you. Sometimes you just need a contrast that is so polar opposite. All right, so I just pulled this card. We have opportunity. So we have protection, justice, and opportunity, but the flying monkeys are watching. Now we have closed door. Okay, so here's the thing. In the event that you were able to freely walk as a priest or a high priestess, it comes with protection. It comes with opportunity. It comes with newness. There's a status attached to it. But when we have closed door, what was the door closed on? Well, mind, right? Everything is mental. Everything is mental. If somebody has closed the door to your mind, meaning like accessing your Akashic records, somebody has essentially put like a lock, a bolt on that door so that you'd never be able to tap in. Meditating could be very hard for you. Right? Think about mental clutter. When I see meditating, now I'm starting to think about mental magic. People that want to distort or scatter or just mess with your mind so that you're never able to find the key that you need to unlock that specific door. Because if you lock that door, you are going to be able to put your hair in those 5 tusks. You're going to recognize that you're a priest or a priestess. Not only that, you're going to recognize that your family is an abomination, right? And not only that, you're going to recognize that you carry multi-dimensional memory. The shit you came here to do on Earth is the shit that you did elsewhere. This is not new to you. This is true to you. And lastly, you were born to change the course of history on Earth, right? And so you had to be rooted in people that didn't want change, people that were absolutely fine with the way life was going, generation after generation, family member after family member. Like they were fine with it. And so you have to be born, you're the change, and you have to be with people who don't want to change, who are resistant to change, who will do awful things to you to stop you from changing. Because if you change, they gotta change, but they're comfortable with their demon. Like they're on a first name basis, like they love each other. Right? They don't want you to break them up. And so this is somebody that closed the door. When I say close the door, they closed your mind so that you would never have a good job opportunity. Oh God. So your job is the priestly office. Your job is the high priestess. Your job is the priest. It's a job of opportunity. It is a job of protection. It comes with justice, which means flying monkeys that fuck with you when you're walking in your office, right? Like there are consequences, but there are no consequences if you're not in the chair. There's no consequences if you're not in the office at work. And so this is like people making sure that you never show up to work. And the way you show up to work is by tapping in and accessing that energy in your mind. How do they get you to not access it? They close the door. How do they close the door? They trap you in your flesh. They trap you in your carnal lower nature, right? They force you to always live a life of surviving. You're never able to thrive, right? But here you are, rich. But your richness is not fiat currency. It is cosmic currency. All right, let's get another one. All right, we're at 21 minutes. I'm gonna learn to get faster. Alrighty. Fruits of labor. Here it is. This is the knowledge that you weren't supposed to know. Yo, you are carrying wealth, but if you open that door, that would mean something specific would happen to the parentage, to the family, to the lineage, right? And so this is somebody essentially closing a door in your mind so that you would never understand that the richness that you are already carrying is here for you to gain, is here for you to access. Like reaping the fruits of your labor, becoming rich. Like you were not supposed to have knowledge that this was you. This was always you. And so they closed your mind down. They shut your mind down, right? You can't tap into the memory. You can't recall why you're here. You don't even know that you're on earth to change history. Like all of that is hidden from you. And when I say hidden from you, I mean it's hidden from your mind. You know, in order for us to tap into a higher consciousness, we have to be elevated. We have to have ascended beyond a certain point. And so these are people, Jezebel specifically, that spirit, that entity, you know, had an investment in you. And the investment was to bring death to your multi-dimensional memory. You were not supposed to understand the depth of who you are. If you feel like you've done this before, it is because you have. You were not supposed to remember that you've done this before. You were not supposed to have that feeling, right? That is what Jezebel came to kill. That is what Jezebel came to make sure it never grew. It never sparked. It never expanded. Right? But listen, feeling out of place, feeling like you don't fit, feeling like you don't belong, feeling like who are these people? Why am I here with them? Like, you know, all of those questions that we ask ourselves either in private or out loud, like all of those questions, those are the questions that you were never supposed to ask yourself. You were supposed to, I mean, of course you weren't going to be comfortable, but like you were never supposed to go further. You were never supposed to wonder. You were never supposed to be curious, right? Because your flesh would have been screaming so loud for you to fill it, for you to give it what it's calling for: sex, drugs, alcohol, like, you know, all of the emotion, shame, regret. Like, you know, you were supposed to be trapped in this thing, not recognizing that this body was carrying something greater. Wow. So your mind is the change maker. It is all in your mind. So we have new beginning. So this is about hitting the reset button. So at one point the door was closed. Now you are hitting the reset button, which means you can open those doors. You can access the things that you need to know, the things that you need to remember, right? It's almost like having files on the computer that are password protected, right? And so Jezebel puts a password on those files, And the only way to open those files is to get out of your flesh, is to not be in lust, is to not be constantly feeding what your body is asking. It's to ascend beyond the carnal nature. And once you ascend beyond the carnal nature, it's like now you can access the files, but it is an energy that opens those files, right? It is an energy. It's not a specific password, but it's a password frequency. I heard recently, I think his name is B-Del, but he has a channel, and I watch his stuff sometimes. He is like, my mind cannot keep up with B-Del, but I love, when I can, and when I can't, I'm gonna say I can't. But he said something recently, and he said the 144,000, it's not like one person, two person, three, it's not like 144,000 people, but it is a frequency, it is a vibration that only certain people can tap into. I am getting that energy with this reading. This is probably a 144 reading, right? And so if you identify as one of those people, it is because you are carrying multidimensional memory. It is because you were born on earth to change the course of history. It is because you picked those parents, you picked your birthday, your time, you picked it all, right? Because in picking all of that, you would have been able to ascend to the necessary frequency that was needed to be a part of the 144 that were called to be here at this specific time, right? And so imagine that all of those 144 have to have some point in their life, you got to hit a reset button, which means you got to reset your body. You got to reset. You got to go back to factory reset. And so the family, the lineage, all that, it's like they distort you, right? God sends you here and then they do everything possible to corrupt your body, right? And you almost like have to get out of the maze. You have to untangle the wires. You got to untangle all the cords. And once you untangle, then you hit the reset button and you're like, oh, that's why I'm here. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? And so I really do believe that, like the 144, okay, it is a frequency and a vibration that only some of us can get into. And we can only get into it because we always had it, but there was a protection. Like we couldn't open it unless we vibrated in a certain way. All right, we'll get one more from this deck. Wrong decision. All right, so somebody made a wrong decision. Now, we're going to find out who did it. But the reason why they made the wrong decision. Now, I have Jezebel and commitment. I don't know if I said that, but after Jezebel, commitment comes off a talisman. So when I see commitment, this could have been somebody that you were in a relationship with, somebody that made a wrong decision. You could have been married to this person. Maybe you married a Jezebel, whatever. But making a wrong decision when you are carrying this type of energy, when you have this type of mission, instead of changing the course of Earth's history, you can change the course of your own history by making a wrong decision. Now, anybody that comes against you, once you have reset, once you have hit the reset button, anybody that comes against you is going to make the wrong decision. Like there are consequences, which takes us back to justice, okay? So now we're going to double down on that. See what else. Kipper. I have Kipper out here because I wanted to use Kipper. You know how sometimes if you're cleaning and you want to clean the corners, there's like a search, like sometimes you need a toothbrush to get in the corners, to get out like the dirt and the dust. That's what the Kipper deck reminds me of. Like when there's energies that you just can't touch or you can't read, or you're like, I know there's something I'm missing, I got to get down in there. That is the Kipper deck. It's only like 39 cards, but it doesn't miss. Kipper is low-key a part of my spiritual warfare stack. Like when I really want to get in and fight, like I'm gonna use Kipper because Kipper is not going to miss. And so I almost thought about touching it, but I was like, oh, not yet. Like we don't want to go in that deep. But I will, like I normally use Kipper like as a third, as like a, I'll put a card down, I'll put a card on top of that, and then I'll put Kipper, right? All right, so now I'm using tarot. And I'll just clarify what I was just talking about. All right, nothing flipped over. So now we're going back to the beginning. Okay, so we have Queen of Swords. So there's a Queen of Swords who is coming out as a flying monkey. This is not you. This is not you. There's a Queen of Swords who is coming out as a flying monkey. So this is essentially an NPC. Y'all, the memory clipped out or it stopped, so I'm just going to do the rest audio. I'm so sorry. But I was talking about the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is coming out as a 140, somebody who's a flying monkey. And so these are the type of people who literally you can just project a program. You can project an agenda and they will just go and do it, right? Like they don't have the ability to think. They don't have the ability to feel for themselves. They can't reason. This is almost like a bot. Somebody who is used as a bot, but they're coming out as a flying monkey. Now, this could have been a person that wanted an opportunity. And the opportunity, okay. And so the Queen of Swords was given an opportunity. Their job was to close a door. They were supposed to close a door inside of your mind so that you wouldn't access knowledge. So the Queen of Swords had two jobs. They had to get in the energy of the Knight of Swords. Once, and this is like on attack, that is the fastest knight in the deck. So they had to get in the energy of the Knight of Swords. They had to target the rich girl. You are rich because of what you carry. Now, rich girl, obviously it can also be rich guy, but I think it's important to say girl because when we're talking about like nurturing and just the feminine energy, it is normally the divine feminine that leads first, right? And so you are a leader, there are seeds you carry, and it's almost like they don't want you to birth the richness inside of you. And so there's a Queen of Swords. This person could be hateful, harsh, cold, but they don't really have access to their heart. You can send them a program and they'll play it. The program was to attack you. Why do they attack you? Because they want to close your door. If you open your door, the rich gain that you already came with is going, you will have access to it, right? You are coming out as a priest or a priestess. So somebody known as the Queen of Swords decided to attack you in order to close your door. It was a door that would allow you to meditate. And so this is almost like, what if there's a specific time when all of the 144 were going to have access to their mind in a mental way? Okay, and so when we all have access, like on a certain day at a certain time, like based on alignments and transits, like all of the 144, like a door would open. And so there's NPCs and flying monkeys and people that are all coming out in all of our lives around the same time period in order to shut those doors, right? Because if we open those doors, we have knowledge. Yes. And so this was some type of an investment. This is a person that was paid to keep you in bondage, to close your mouth, to keep your hands still, to keep you from working, to keep you from seeing. This is a flying monkey that, and somebody else, obviously, when I talk about flying monkeys, somebody else had to project this to them, right? But this is somebody that was foolish enough to take this, which is why I understand why the reading ended with wrong decision, right? And so you are an investment. And the rule of the investment was that this person had certain knowledge. Now, I don't think they had all of the knowledge because if you're a flying monkey, you can't even hold knowledge, okay? Like you can't hold enough to really understand. But this, you know what? This is going to be somebody close to you now, okay? Because remember, it says we specifically picked the moment of time and the parentage that would give you the best connection. And so this is about people that you have been close to, that are NPCs, that are flying monkeys, that saw you as an investment. Some type of program was projected into them mentally. They decided to run the program, which had been to attack you, but you are the priest or the priestess. Their job was to close the door so that you don't have knowledge or you don't have access to who you really are. You don't understand your status. You don't understand your calling. You don't know why you came here, right? Like that was the goal. All right, I have 2 more cards to pull from tarot, and then I'm going to clarify. Exactly. So remember I talked about a new beginning and hitting your reset button? This could be somebody who carries the spirit or the entity of Jezebel. This is somebody that was supposed to 2 of Swords you. This is somebody that was supposed to blind you. When I say blind you, I'm talking about blinding you in the spirit. They wanted you to be confused. They didn't want you to be able to make a decision. They didn't want you to be able to decide anything. Because if you have free reign, if you have access to your mind, then you will tap into your multidimensional memory, which essentially means it's like now you got a blueprint. This is about you being able to carry a blueprint because you are here to build and create something. You are a cosmic contractor. And everybody that's a part of the 144 has blueprints inside of them. And the only way to get us from not opening our blueprint is to get us trapped in our body. And so they send people that are a part of your family or your whatever. They send people that are part of your parentage, right? And those are the NPCs. Those are the bots that are supposed to shut down your mind, shut down your spiritual eyes. Those are the people that are supposed to hack your system so that you can never get in to the password protected things, meaning vibrationally you'll never ascend high enough to understand who you really are. All right, I have one more card to pick from tarot. All right, a lot of them flipped over. I'm just going to do it again. All right, now I have the World. So it ends with, listen, this is over. This is over. So you, at a specific point in time, this knowledge or this bondage was supposed to end. And so Jezebel's like, no, we don't want this shit to end. They're about to hit the reset button. They're going to tap into their multidimensional memory. We don't need this to happen, right? And so they Two of Swords you. They lock down your mind. But we start with justice. So whoever this person is that thought that this was a good opportunity to come at you and to close your mind, all of this not only was a wrong decision, but if it ends in the World, that means that this was a cycle. This was a period in time where you could have been living in the energy of bondage, right? And if you were to name an entity or a demon that was responsible for what you were going through, it would have been Jezebel, okay? And so this Queen of Swords could have been carrying the entity or the spirit of Jezebel, okay? So again, this is somebody that is not really able to operate their vessel, but yet they have the ability to host demons. And so whatever demon jumps inside of them has the ability to drive them in any direction. The direction they drove them to was towards you, to close your door. Why is it important to close your door? Because you were born on earth to change the course of history. And so you were the talisman, but you are not the talisman for just your family, or for just the people at your job, or just the people in your household. You are one of Earth's talisman, known as the 144. And so when somebody tries to close the door of the 144, oh my God, that is, yes, that's the wrong decision. Yes, it is reckless behavior, and there are bad consequences, which is why at the very beginning we have justice, the executioner's knife, and that comes out with protection. Do you think you can come here with a multi-dimensional memory? You're coming here to change the course of Earth's history. Do you not think that there is protection attached to you? That's what I mean about foolishness. Like, not everybody is able to carry the understanding of who and what you are. And so a lot of the people that come to you are flying monkeys. They have pieces and tidbits of information, and they go off of that and they use that to accomplish whatever it is that they were supposed to invest in. So this is somebody that was essentially paid money to keep you bound, to keep you from accessing specific knowledge, because if you got that knowledge, you would have tapped into the fruits of your labor. Now I'm also getting this commitment. So I'm like, somebody was committed to this. This could have been a contract. This was something, you know, on the commitment card, it's a picture of somebody married, but it's a married couple. But what I'm hearing or what I'm feeling is that this contract has closed out. So this commitment, whatever Jezebel was committed to doing, this cycle has been closed. Yes, it was the wrong decision because of who you are. You are Earth's talisman, meaning Earth always needed you. That's why you picked a specific time. You picked everything because Earth needed you. Y'all. All right, so now I'm going to pick 5 more cards to just clarify my handmade deck, and then we'll get out of here. I'm so sorry that it switched over. It said something was wrong with, it said my memory was full, so. All right, so on top of justice, I have you can't fix them. Yo, this flying monkey is fucked up. And if they're not fucked up, they're about to be fucked up. On the image of the you can't fix them card, it's like Humpty Dumpty. Y'all know what happened to Humpty Dumpty when he fell off that wall and he was cracked and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again? That is who this person is. You can't fix them. All right, let's get another one. We have Dreamweaver. And so one of the ways that they came for you, it could have been by way of dreams. That is how they closed your mind. That is how they closed the door. So we have Dreamweaver, lucid dreams, create your own reality, and escape. Now you could have escaped you could have escaped whatever the mental trap or the closed doors that they did. But I also feel like the way that they attacked you, it was in your dreams. The way they bound you, these are cowards. The way they did it, it was in your dreams. All right, I'm going to get another one. We got 3 more clarifying cards. This one says, tapped into the infinite flow of the universe. Exactly. This comes out with knowledge, meaning like knowledge of your Akashic records, but it also comes out with the card that talked about you picking your parentage and you picking those connections because energetically and genetically they would help you bring about your purpose. So this is essentially somebody wanting to lock your mind up while you are in your dream state. And the reason why all of this was necessary is because your mind, not everybody else's, but your mind is tapped into the infinite flow of the universe. And it would have to be in order for you to carry the multidimensional memory, right? If you are going to change the course of history on Earth, you cannot have an earthly mind. You cannot be living in this earthly body, not being able to ascend beyond like what your body is wanting and needing. And you understand what I'm saying? And so this is somebody that didn't want you to be able to tap in to the infinite flow of the universe, which exists in your mind, and so they bound you. But this was an investment. Somebody was paid to do this. And the 7 of Pentacles, which is a card of investment, it comes out on fruits of your labor. And I feel like all of the riches that truly were yours, this is like somebody getting to tap into they're spending your money. Like whoever bound you was paid with your own money. Because it comes out on the rich girls, it comes out on the fruits of your labor, right? So somebody knows something about you, and so they're able to use your wealth as long as you are bound, as long as the doors to your mind are closed. All right, I got 2 more. All right, here we go. Karmic bonds. Now, karmic bonds comes on top of multi-dimensional memory, but it also comes out with Jezebel and the 2 of Swords. So this could be somebody from a past life. The card says unresolved issues from past lives, cycles, lessons, unstable relationships. This could have been somebody that you have had past life experiences with in different incarnations. This could have happened before, but this is definitely somebody that carries the entity of the Jezebel. Now, we do have death, okay? So, is Jezebel going to die, or is this a transition where, no longer do you have to live this life without having access to hit your reset button? Like you finally get to have the new beginning that you were denied. You were denied the new beginning because you were in bondage to Jezebel. But with Jezebel coming out with death, it is almost like you were free from this. Whatever this karmic bond was that was able to keep you bound, that is what you were free from. It was a continuation from a past life experience. It was a part of a lesson. It was a part of a cycle. And the reading ends with the World card, right? And so listen, when it's all said and done and the cycle is closed, finally, the Queen of Swords recognized, I fucked up. That was the wrong decision. Why did I do that? So it ends with you getting your keys to unlock all those files that you were not able to unlock. And for the other person, it ends with them almost like snapping out of this flying monkey trance. All right. And then lastly, look at that. Honor what is ending. And so whatever this commitment was that they had with Jezebel, or whatever this was, these people need to honor what is ending. Humpty Dumpty is broken and cannot be fixed. Whoever played with your dreams, they were only playing with your mind because they did not want you to tap into the universe. This is a past life connection that includes the entity of Jezebel. All right, I love y'all. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.